Volanta. Mila, you scared me half to life. What are you doing, skulking about back there, like a cat looking for a porch to die under? Where is Anastraya? Oh, who knows anymore? I can't get 2 words out of that girl these days. She used to be so carefree and merciless. Now all she does is pout. If she's not careful, her face will freeze in an eternal grimace, just like yours. Oh, I do worry about her. Wherever she is, or whatever she is doing, we need to find her. Husband wants a word. He does? Why didn't you say so? Gods below, I'm in such a state. I must find appropriate garb. Where is that whalebone corset of yours? It looks so fetching on me. Help me lace it up, would you? I'm going to make a corset out of your bones if you don't... Arguing again like an old married cat and dog. Ludmilla, I found Anastraya. There you are. Where have you... What's wrong? What's wrong is I can't get a moment's peace from your bickering. If this henpecking is what grown women do all day, then thank the dark powers I'll never age. Anastraya, are you eating? You look wan. What? She's fine. What does husband want? Something about Irina, I expect. Or those quixotic do-gooders running about the place. Don't say her name. It unsettles my stomach. I cannot wait for a husband to realize how bullish and club-footed the princess is. And we'll see how pretty she is without any skin. Careful what you wish for, Volanta. What? What does that mean? Ludmilla, don't be cruel. What does that mean? As I said, husband would like a word.
Hey Dungeoneers, thanks so much for joining us for another episode of the Strahdcast. If you like what we do here, remember to follow us on YouTube or subscribe via your favorite podcast app to get notified every time we release new episodes. Thanks again, and take your listen with advantage. When last we left our heroes, it was a day of lessons. Kaz taught Winnie how to butcher the boar and affix its tusks onto her mask, creating a frightening new veil for her adventures. Drogar taught Winnie to use her very faith as a shield, and taught Dimitri how to smoke a pipe, sort of. Our heroes took a moment to reflect on the valley itself, on Zenobia, and how she seemed just as ready to be rid of Strahd as they are. In that interest, it was decided to set out at last on the road to Baba Lysaga and the final missing gem. First stop, Argynvost Holt, the ancient keep of the dragon Argynvost. What will await them on the path? Find out now on the Strahdcast. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Shuffle off this mortal coil and transport yourselves to the far, foggy realm of Barovia. So, you all bed down, and I think maybe, and decide for yourselves, but I think this is the first night that is available to sleep soundly, maybe, for some of us.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I will leave that to make your own call. I don't want to assume anything, but I imagine the last couple nights have not been great sleeping.
Oh, yeah.
But maybe last night, you actually get a little repose. So let that, do with that information what you will.
That's what he chose to do with that information.
You're damn right it is.
What I'm hearing is full HP and 4 rages.
Hello.
I indeed. You all awake. I think, Winnie, we had described you curled up like a cat in the crook of Drogar's arm.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So everyone awakes to a gentle morning, at least as gentle as you can kind of get in Barovia. You come out into the morning mists, but they're somewhat dissipated as to what the norm would be. So it's a pretty clear day by Barovian standards. And by that it means it looks like it might just spit today instead of downpour. As you make your way out into the camp, it's already bustling. There's been a lot of excitement over the last couple of days in the Berserker camp, and you can sort of feel that energy radiating from them. They are activated in a way that you have not really seen before. They've always been ready for action, the Berserkers, but it feels revelrous rather than ferocious right now. Just to set the scene, you see black smoke pluming from Zarya's tent, so you can guess that she's there working at the forge. If you want to say anything to her, you also see Dimitri is having a conversation with Rudolph over by Rudolph's wagon that they all arrived from Valaki in. And you also see in that sort of like central sort of like arena where Kaz, that fated battle with Zarya so long ago, you can see a bunch of the Berserkers sort of at morning drills, kind of exercising and training. And you also see Irina there chucking javelins at dummies.
Nice.
Yes.
So that's kind of the scene set before you. So if you want to talk to any of those people, you can. If there's someone else you want to speak to, you can go and find them. If you want to just break camp and hit the road, you're welcome to do that again. But that's what you're looking at, and the time is yours.
Did we, I know we expressed intent to do this, but did we ever actually affix the boar tusks to Winnie's skull mask?
Yes, that was part of the day yesterday.
Okay, so we did do that.
The skull mask has the tusks on them, yeah.
Lovely.
I think in asking, I guess Zarya, did Zarya do the work on the skull mask?
I think we said that she would help if we needed it, so I'm going to assume she helped.
I also had her cut it, so now it's like a half mask,
Ah.
and the tusks are
Nice.
So like is
the
your nose
cheekbones.
exposed or just your mouth?
Trying to think of what would be cooler.
I'm trying to think that you've broken your nose twice now, and maybe you should leave it covered.
Okay, that's a good idea. That's a good
Right,
idea.
so it kind of stops maybe at your upper lip.
Yeah, with
Great.
just the tusks.
And then the
coming out of
tusks
cheekbones.
curl out. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Way cool. I just think as we're walking by, doing our business. Yeah, as we walk by the arena, I want to see how Irina is doing.
Yeah, so you sort of peer out across the arena. They're all just sort of at their morning drills. Some are doing push-ups. Some are at training dummies, swinging swords and spears. And Irina stands at about the midway point, like at the center of the arena. You see her. She pulls a javelin out of one of the training dummies and holds it in her hand and walks back across to the center of the arena and kind of squares up, and you can see the focus on her face as she sort of like takes aim. And she goes to throw, and Kaz, give me a perception check.
Yes.
16 on the die. That's that's 17, I think.
17?
Yeah.
Great. She's getting quite good, Kaz.
Nice. Oh, I'm wrong. That's a 20. Dirty 20.
Yes.
Yes.
She's getting really
even
good.
better.
Kaz. She's getting really good. No, her form is good.
Great.
Yeah. You can tell she's been practicing.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, I think being the martially minded person I am, I think I'll find, because like you can always improve. I'll find whatever it is, the slightest thing that she could be doing better. Like,
Square off the back foot.
Great, awesome.
The throw starts in the earth.
Give me that's awesome. Give me a either insight or investigation.
which one's better? Investigation's a -1. Insight's a +1. A 12.
A 12?
Yep.
As you say that off the back foot, I think like in the distance as Kaz was walking by the arena, Winnie was doing like a big kid stretch and then tries to creep out of the bed with Drogar still sleeping. And around the time you start giving Irina orders, Winnie just arrives and is like struggling
Great.
to see over the side as watching.
Give me a stealth check, Winnie, to avoid waking up Drogar.
Oh my god.
Based on those snores,
Drogar
maybe-
sleeping in.
Dirty 20.
Yeah, you
Nice.
replace your body with a water jug and make your, and
And then he like takes the jug and like rolls over.
like starts cuddling the jug. Yeah. Yeah, and you make your way out to the arena, to see Kaz kind of squaring up, watching Irina work. And Kaz, as you look, you notice, she needs to square her hips.
Yeah. It's that kinetic linking.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
The throw starts in the earth.
I thought it started with my arm.
Oh no. Square off your back foot. Push off of it. That energy goes through your leg, through your hip, and then a rotate in your upper body, and then it gets to your arm. It's like the crack of a whip.
Starts in the earth. God. Has anyone ever told you have a rather poetic soul, Kasle?
Oddly enough, yes. I didn't believe it then either. Throw it again.
Well, yes, ma'am. And she does so.
I think her coaching style is much like Geralt. Think opening scenes of The Witcher 3.
So she squares up again, Kaz. And you see her like take focus, but then she kind of stops for a second and looks down at her feet and like stomps a little bit and takes position. You can see much improved. She like finds her center. And so she goes to throw it again and and she sort of sends it across and like right into the training dummy's face. Like you see the tip of the spear burst out of the back of the training dummy's skull. And she whirls around, her sort of amber hair flowing, twirling like the train of a skirt as she does. And she beams at you and says, "Not bad, eh?"
That hair doesn't ever get in your face when you do it, does it?
Yes, but it's part of my charm.
Yes, ma'am.
You're damn right it is.
Yeah, it was better. Keep practicing.
Can do.
It's a lot harder to focus on doing it right when you're throwing it at something that's charging to kill you.
Well, I'll take your word for it right now.
Do you mean to run at you really scary?
Let's save that for a bit. I don't know if I'm quite ready to spar with all of you yet. Awesome. Anything else? Drogar's still asleep. Drogar is taking it easy this morning.
And then you just hear, I told you about the time.
No. It's over that way, Venner, that way.
I said a pinch of cinnamon, not a dash. Pinch.
Keep stirring the pot.
I think the one thing you would see Olaf going around the camp, like just checking on everyone and just like, because he knows he's probably going to leave. He doesn't quite know, but he's like, he thinks he might be part of the crew now. Mm-hmm. So he's like, just like checking the perimeter, like checking like the other scouts, like, stopping by being like, don't forget to keep your elbow up, arms straight.
Yeah,
like.
great. Yeah, so you're sort of making the rounds, making sure everything is in order. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe at a certain point, like Zarya comes over, right? And she sort of has a bemused smile on her face. I'm picturing her finding you like checking posts in a fence or something like that, like making sure there aren't gaps in it. Yeah, she sort of comes over with a bemused smile on her face, and she says, "Don't worry, Olaf. I think the fences will be just fine while you're away."
I don't like the idea of being away.
Do you think we children and capable of looking after ourselves?
No. Wee bit of homesickness, maybe.
And she comes over and claps a big hand on your shoulder, Olaf. I understand. But it's important. Our world is so small, and yet there's still so much in it. There's much of this valley you've yet to see, Olaf. And if you're to be saving it now, there's much of it you must see.
I won't let you down.
I know. That's why I put you on the job.
Thank you. It means a lot.
You mean a lot, Olaf. Don't be gone for too long, eh?
Aye. While I'm gone, I got a recommendation for you if you're looking for a new chief scout to fill in.
Well, I imagine someone will have to make sure we're not in imminent danger while you're away. Who'd you have in mind?
There's no one better than my cousin Ayla.
I know you've been working with her for a long time, but you think she's ready? She's still pretty young, eh?
There's no one I'd trust more. If she didn't respect me so much, I think she'd beat me more times than not when we go on our little hunting trips.
It's a good humor, can admit it, Olaf. Very well. If that is your design, you'll brook no challenge from me.
She's ready. And she's ready to defend herself if there be a challenge.
Days come, we must all be ready to defend ourselves. Luckily, we'll have you lot out there fighting the good fight.
I'll do what I can.
You'll do brilliantly. By the way, if you see the wee one, send her to my tent, would you?
Absolutely. I should probably be tracking that lot down anyway.
Oh, yeah, there's no one better suited. And she holds out one of her enormous arms to kind of do the Viking handshake.
Mm-hmm. And
Travel well, Skogr.
Olaf grasps it and maybe hugs Zarya a little more than she was expecting.
She relents. At first, she's how she, at first she's a little like, all right. And she kind of relents.
And then, I think he just kind of like doesn't quite know what to do with himself at that point, and like kind of looks down and goes, right, I'll be off. And just like turns and goes without really looking at her again.
I love this.
Off to find your own way. And you head out. Yeah, awesome.
I do have a thing I remember.
What's up?
After I watch Kaz giving Irina instructions, I'm just kind of bebopping around. I want to take in all the things. And so I see that that's happening, and then I'm going to walk towards the tree line, and I'm going to try and find a couple more rocks for my project.
Great. Give me survival or investigation.
17.
Great. Roll a d4. You had 2, right? We came away last time with 2.
She had 4, and then she discarded the 2
because they weren't
ones.
quite right. Yeah.
Right. 1.
Nothing this time.
Nothing.
Nothing this time.
All right. Well, I'm walking the tree line still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You find a lot of rock. It's funny, Winnie, actually. What happens this time is I think you find a lot of rocks that maybe, they're good rocks, but they're not really great rocks.
Okay. And they have to be specific. They have to be able to stack with the other ones, and they have to be descending size. It's a specific thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like cairn pattern.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not this time.
Okay. I still have 2.
Drogar's still asleep.
And he sits up and he's holding the jug in his hand and he's like, well, you're not witty. Just kind of puts the jug down.
He throws it. She's doing a sneak again.
God,
quick, everyone assemble.
Gods be damned.
He throws the tent flap open. The child is sneaking! Has anyone seen her?
Somebody just points.
Trevor, I'm right here. What?
Oh, there you are.
I'm sorry. Carry on, Trevor.
No. So he sits up and he kind of looks at the jug and he goes, "You're not witty," and he puts it down and he kind of stands up and like brushes himself off and he like looks around and he's like, "This was lovely." And he just kind of goes over and he like takes his purple robe and he ties it. He has like kind of a gi tying pattern to it. So he ties it up and then he looks at the armor and he just kind of puts a hand on the armor, and I imagine it feels like warm to the touch.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's been sitting on a radiator.
Yeah, it's like nice and warm.
Mm-hmm. Toasty.
And in a realm like Barovia where like it feels like the cold is moist and it's always cutting through the air. Yeah.
It's a damp cold.
Yeah. Oh, that northeast cold, that humid cold. So he takes the armor and he puts the breastplate on and he like straps it and he just kind of puts each piece of it on. And I imagine that maybe there's I don't know what they would use for a mirror here. Do they have mirrors of any sort? Like,
there are mirrors. They don't have any in the Berserker camp.
Okay. Yeah. He catches his image in his shield at one point.
Great, yeah. Uh-huh.
And he looks at his shield and he kind of sees himself in this like resplendent suit of armor and he just kind of smiles and he's like, "You don't look a day over 244. And then he goes over and he picks the shield up and he slides the mace into his hilt. And he's like kind of like stepping out of the tent and he's like,
yeah. So yeah, you step out, Drogar, and you're seeing Kaz maybe still standing by the arena watching Irina.
Yeah.
And you see Dimitri and Rudolph talking to each other and the smoke billowing from the camp.
Winnie's walking along the trees looking at the ground.
Kaz is just like pacing back and forth with a stick, just like because it's, I don't know. Somehow when she's coaching, she just like finds a stick.
She's like holding it behind her like a
ballet
riding crop.
guy.
No, I think just like sort of holding it down by her side, and every time she needs to like accentuate a point, she just like whacks the fence.
Ah, nice.
No, put your weight on the back foot.
Irina jumps.
Yeah.
I think Drogar has a moment where he looks at all this happening and the work that we've done is visible.
Mm-hmm. In a big way.
Like very, very visible.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, he thinks about how Strahd capitalizes on fear and hatred and pain. And he looks around and he sees all these things. And I think maybe he catches a glimpse of the longer hug of Zarya and Olaf, you know, and like seeing Winnie like skipping and like kicking rocks and, you know, and picking them up and looking at them and stuff. And
It's a good moment.
yeah. And I think he just like takes a snapshot of that moment in his mind and holds it dear. And then he will call to everybody and he will go, Kaz, Winnie, Olaf.
I can't find any good rocks.
Well, how many do you have?
I have 2.
2. Well, good things come in threes. There's bound to be one around here somewhere. I'm almost positive you're going to find one. And we'll cast guidance on you.
Roll again.
One last look.
Yeah. Last looks.
With a D4.
Don't know if it's meant to be.
Hope you roll a 10 on that D4.
That's a 10 total.
Sure, okay. Roll a D6.
You find the opposite. You find a spiky rock instead.
I find a skunk.
Yeah.
A 1.
None this time.
Yeah. You find...
You can't fight City Hall.
When I was a kid, I went on this trip to this, like the New Jersey watershed, and I could have swore that I found this brown, perfectly like smooth rock. And when I went to go pick it up, it was actually shit.
No!
I swear to God.
I
And,
pick
like,
up a piece of poo.
yeah, I
It do be like that sometimes.
I actually like put my hand in poop, and I was like, "Oh, that's so disappointing on so many fucking levels."
Yeah, you got a poop hand right now.
I know. You sit from really far away. You just hear like, ew! And then I just am like going like this. I'm like waving at you.
Somebody cast Great Water.
Yeah.
And then I start running. I start running back towards Drogar, like wiping on, like rubbing my hand
On,
on
like,
the grass
branches
as I
and
go.
trees.
Yeah. Yeah, so we reconvene. We'll have everybody together, kind of in the middle of camp here.
Olaf saw the display of Winnie getting the poop on her hand and wiping it off, and he like jogs up and catches up to her. And he's like, "Yeah, you might want to wash that off in the stream over there."
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's tinky.
And when you're done, Zarya would like to see you.
Oh, I need to get the poop off me before.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, definitely get rid of the poop.
Zarya's oddly really strict about that.
Yes, no poop.
Did she say anything else?
No, she just wanted to see you. I mean, you're the queen of the werewolves now, so you're
No.
pretty important.
Not really. Am I in trouble?
No, just meeting of leaders, you know.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Okay.
And then he'll like nod to you and be like, "Let me know if you need anything."
Okay.
And
like
then he'll
the
just
UN.
like turn and jog off.
Oh, okay.
I'll go wash my hand. And I'll run off towards Zarya's tent.
You do so. Everybody going to Zarya's tent or just Winnie? Anything else?
I guess I would like then make my way to Drogar and Kaz if you were congregating. And
Sure.
then
I think we kind of like see Winnie do that whole spectacle, and Drogo's like, "Oh dear, that didn't go as according to plan at all."
That happened to me when I was...
I remember when I was 134 and I stuck my hand in a pile of dragon shit. It was quite awful. You see, dragon shit stays on the body for the sentence.
Even what? To make matters worse, it was my own.
And that dragon shit was stuck on me for 3 days.
I love it. I love
Okay,
it. I love the hokey shit.
So is everybody going or just Winnie?
I think Winnie's just going.
All right,
I
great.
think just Winnie.
I think
Great.
we see Winnie kind of scuffle off and, Olaf, where's she headed?
Zarya wanted to see her.
Oh, well, she's the leader of the werewolves now.
That's what I said.
So Winnie, you scramble over to that sort of.
don't want it.
You scramble to that sort of central location, and you see the thick jets of black smoke spewing up, billowing out of this open slot at the top of her huge tent. You know, it's kind of like a yurt. You know, if you've seen like nomadic. Those huge round nomadic tents.
Love me a good yurt.
I yearn for yurts. Anyway, now that's a TikTok trend, yurt life. Forget van life.
I love van life. Stop making fun of me for loving van life.
Hashtag yurt life.
Anyway, you go in. You enter in, and passing through the folds of the tent, the temperature immediately rises inside Zarya's tent as the forge is in full bore. And as you make your way in, tung, tung, you know, she's like hammering away at her forge. You can see a small piece of metal in her tongs, where usually it has the tang of a blade or some kind of handle that she's forging. It's usually something big and heavy that she's working with, but she's got a tiny little something in her tongs, and she's just like hammering away at it. And as she rounds on it for the last time, sparks fly off, illuminating her face. As she works, she has like these sort of like, I picture them almost like these goggles, but instead of glass in the viewport, it's like obsidian almost, you know, like it's this like oily black stone. And she like pulls away the mask, and her face is covered with soot and sweat, and she looks up at you. Ah, there you are, little wolf. I've got something for you.
What is it?
Well, why don't you come here and see?
Okay.
You make your way over, Winnie, and she kneels down. I got a special order last night.
What?
It's a bit more intricate, a little nambly-pambly than what I'm used to, but I think it's turned out all the same.
What? From who?
She kneels down. Do you know who the last person to wield the blood spear was? Before it was deposited in the crypt where Kasle received it.
Was his name Kavan too?
A good guess, but alas, no. Kavan was the first. Our great unifier. He started our line and was the first wielder of the blood spear, but it has marked rulers of our clan ever since its inception. No, in fact, there have been 16 Kavan, wielders of the blood spear. The last one, the very last before Kasle herself, was the last free queen of the Berserkers. Her name was Kiala, but our people called her the Wolf Queen. You see, at the time, the rams our people are famous for breeding. They're hearty beasts, to be sure, but even they could fall victim to a pack of hungry wolves. It got so bad during Kiala's reign that our ancestors were in real danger of losing the animals that made our husbandry legend across the lands. And so Kiala devised a cunning plan. She spoke to the wolves, for she knew they would not hunt the rams unless they were desperate. For every ram that was taken, a wolf too were often felled in the attempt. She earned their trust, named them Pack, and ran with them, stalking the woods for wicked creatures that dwelt there and eating well upon their flesh. So sated, the attacks upon the rams stopped, and there was harmony. And she she opens up her palm, and sitting in her huge palm is a little badge. It's in the shape of a wolf's head, and carved with intricate detail into the facade. It says, Boss of Werewolves.
Oh my god.
That's cool.
And she holds it up between, two fingers, and she says, this badge bears her mark. And behind the lettering inscribed into it, you can see a relief carved into it of a crescent moon crossed by a spear.
Wow.
Wear it well, little wolf, for I am proud to be part of your pack.
Wow.
She hands it to you.
Oh, thank you.
Aye, a little birdie told me you might like it.
What? What do you mean?
He's safe.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
He's not mad?
No.
How did you hear from him?
He came.
He came here?
Told me to make this for you.
But he didn't say hello?
He's just not ready, I don't think. But he wanted you to have this.
So he knows about the werewolf thing?
He flew in here as a sparrow, young Winnie, but I think had he his druthers, he would have been a proud peacock instead.
Oh!
Hey. Damn.
Oh,
And Winnie is cupping the badge in her palms, and she just holds it to her chest for a second. Okay, we're about to leave again. If he comes again, do you have any way that you can send me a message or something? If he comes again, can you try to make him stay?
I can, Winnie, but I don't have that power, I don't think.
Me neither.
All things in time, little wolf. Don't you worry.
Thank you.
Campbell, this is a wondrous magic item. It gives you a new way to use your channel divinity.
What?
You can activate your channel divinity, and all allies within 15 feet of you get advantage on their attack rolls.
Holy shit!
It's like it's a new channel
It's a
divinity
new
thing.
channel divinity,
I can
yeah.
do this channel divinity thing and give everyone advantage.
I'm calling it Boss of Werewolves.
Fuck yes!
But yeah, it's essentially
Channel divinity, Boss of
it's
Werewolves.
essentially a 15-foot radius of pack tactics.
Nice.
Oh my god!
That's awesome.
Fucking boss of werewolves.
She is the boss of werewolves. Fuck yeah.
Attack,
Let's
attack.
go.
That is very clever.
Wow.
Awesome.
For how long does that? Whoa. For how? Whoa.
What's it, like a minute?
We'll say it's like an hour, like spiritual weapon or something, or whatever.
A minute?
It is.
Like in
a
combat?
minute. Yeah, we'll say it's a minute. We'll say it's a minute.
I was going to say an
Wow.
hour.
So like in
Holy
combat,
shit.
in combat, it's 10 rounds.
10 rounds of advantage?
Yeah.
If they're within 15
If they're
feet of
within
me?
15 feet of you.
It's fucking huge. Cool.
Let's go.
Trevor, behind a curtain, Pack Tactics is what spellbook does that usually come out of?
Well, no, Pack Tactics is an ability that's on like direwolves and werewolves and a lot of things.
Got
If an ally is within 5 feet of you, you get advantage on your attack.
Almost like flanking automatically, yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
But so what this does is it doesn't give Winnie any advantages, but everyone within 15 feet of her gets
the
advantage on
advantage.
their attacks because she's
That's-
the leader of the pack.
That's
Wow.
fucking
Yeah,
awesome.
she is.
Wow.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Oh. Wow.
So yeah, it's a new use. It's a new use for your channel divinity.
Wow.
While you have this badge, you can use your channel divinity for Boss of Werewolves.
Jeez Louise.
Way cool.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
You're putting together a nice merit badge. You've got Gourd of the Year and Boss, of Werewolves.
We need to get
Hell
you
yeah.
we need to get you a
Oh
sash
my gosh.
to store all
A
of
Girl
your badges
Scout,
on.
a Girl
Yeah.
Scout sash.
Nice Girl Scout sash.
Goodness gracious. Winnie looks up at Zarya with such awe. And again, in this journey, is reminded just how much of an effect it has had on her to have strong women around, passing on knowledge
Yeah.
and teaching her both to be powerful and respectful and gentle and will do whatever. I mean, if it clips onto her.
Let's say let's say both and the badge that Charlie gave you have like a little pin in the back. But yeah.
Yeah.
But she gives you a big warm smile, Winnie. And pats you on the back.
I'll give her a tiny salute.
Mm-hmm. She gives it right back, with playful stoicism. She's
Mhm.
like,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Thank you.
thank you.
We'll be back soon, I hope.
I sure hope.
Is Sasha around?
You'd probably have to ask Olaf.
Okay. It's been really nice here. Thank you. We were really, really so sad. And thanks for just making us feel cozy.
We were quite sad until you all showed up. Sorry you had to take it onto your shoulders, but we're all really enjoying the reprieve.
Yeah, okay.
Travel safe, little wolf.
Ow! Ow! And I'll turn and run out of the tent.
Great. You do so.
And I feel like, Winnie, as you run back down to us, you see that we've reconvened by the pit where Irina is like throwing the javelins, and Drogar is just standing there, and he's turning to Kaz, and he goes, so now let me get this straight. You lean back on your back foot, right? It starts with the earth,
Well,
say.
you see, yes, in fact, the I don't know if you know, the thing you have to understand about javelins, Drogar,
Yes.
is that the
Whack.
power comes from the earth.
Comes from the earth.
Who's the coach here? You don't lean back on the foot. You push from the foot. You push back against the earth, and the earth pushes back against you, and then you let that force travel through the hip, which rotates, and then your torso rotates, and then your shoulder carries that momentum forward until your arm, like the crack of a whip, launches the javelin forward.
Yeah, come on, Drogar. It's not even hard.
Oh,
Well, you see, I've actually never thrown a javelin. I will admit when I've never done something.
Have you thrown a punch?
Yes.
Same principle.
Albeit I was drunk many a time, but yes.
Well, if you were sober, maybe you would remember doing that. It's
Yes.
kind of instinctual, but you have to train it.
I'll take your word for it.
All right.
I'll look around if Sasha's around, or I'll look for Olaf.
Yeah, yeah. Olaf is will be, I assume, congregating.
I think you see Olaf talking to a young woman who looks very similar to him. Same like shade of red hair, like braided back, where Olaf has like the sides of his head shaved. She just has her hair like full pulled back and braided, and she's like maybe half an inch shorter and a little slimmer, but like you would think they were brother and sister. And he's like kind of like patting her on the shoulder, like, and they're like talking, and that's kind of what you see him doing.
I'll run over that way, and then I'll slow down to a walk, not wanting to interrupt and not knowing who this person is.
Yeah, so you arrive on the scene, Winnie, maybe just in time to overhear. Well, if you want to take another day just to make sure you've compiled all your thoughts in one place, otherwise, I think we'll have things in tow. Don't worry. You've trained me well, you've trained all of us well.
I could do without the attitude, though.
I know. It'll never happen.
You know I trust you,
You know you're right.
but don't get overconfident.
Don't worry. If I ever do, I'll have Zarya to back me up and all the lads.
Ayla, caution first. Survive.
Second.
No. You survive to win. Every second. Do not take a risk you do not need to take.
I never met a risk who didn't want to take me on a trip. Don't worry, Olaf.
When he's watching like a ping pong match.
Don't worry. We'll be fine. You go save the valley. We'll all be here when you're finished.
You better be.
Indeed we will. Just as you left us.
And then I think he'll like glance over and see Winnie.
Hi.
And I'm like, hello there, little wolf.
Hi. Is Sasha around?
We might be able to find her. She's been making her home on the outskirts of camp.
Oh, okay.
You want me to show you where?
Oh, okay.
And then he'll look at Ayla and give her like one last nod and be like, do not be overconfident.
Do not get too drunk while you're away.
You know I only do that when I celebrate.
Well, you know I'm only overconfident when there's danger about, so, you know.
And he like looks at Winnie and just like shakes his head. And goes, and then looks back at Ayla and goes, you'll be the death of me if it ain't Strahd first.
I'd like to see him try.
I think at that point he just like shakes his head and like nods, like puts his hand on her shoulder, and then starts walking off towards the outskirts of camp.
Mm-hmm.
You're walking and I'm kind of jogging alongside.
Yeah.
Who's that?
The bane of my existence. That be me cousin Ayla, and I think the new chief scout of the Berserkers.
And that's what you were.
Aye.
Okay. What does scouts do?
From what I heard about your friend Artemis, pretty much what he did for your group.
Oh.
We make sure we don't walk into any danger, and we make sure that we know before danger comes to us.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And when he gets quiet and just walks with you.
Yeah, and I think Olaf kind of embraces that quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yep, we just walk quiet.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. And so, Winnie, I think, actually, you feel quite comfortable being quiet with Olaf,
Oh, wow.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's new.
And so, yeah, you make your way. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then I think we find this like like area where there's like kind of fallen trees and like, you know, where there's this little like hidden cove, and I like slow down and I kneel down and I like point it out to you and I'm like, you see that little cove right there, right under that fallen tree?
Yeah.
That's where I've seen Sasha making her home.
Oh, so she's kind of like doing her thing.
Yeah, but I'll leave you to it. I'm sure she'd like to see you.
Okay.
And then he'll from his pack he'll pull out like a little piece of like dried meat
Nice.
and he'll give it to you. He'll be like, I usually like to stop by every morning and give her one of these, but I think you should do it today.
Okay.
And then yeah, so he'll give it to you and then he'll give you a nod and just turn and walk away.
Okay.
Yes, you find yourself in this little hollow, Winnie.
Okay. I hear as Olaf, his footsteps kind of disappear into the distance, and I'll just hold this out. Weirdly nervous.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not necessarily like the animals guy.
Mm-hmm.
Sasha,
You're sort of approaching the
I'm standing
cave entrance.
still, and I'm just holding it out right now, looking at the cave entrance.
Great. Give me animal handling.
Oh no.
I would like
14.
I would like to get okay. I was just gonna say I would like to give Winnie advantage on that because Sasha knows her.
Hang with me. The forest is still silent around you, Winnie. Would you like to try to get a little closer?
Yes. But first, I'm going to get on all fours.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to
Crawl. Okay.
over.
Great.
Yeah, I'm crawling with still holding the thing in my hand, but I'm crawling. Hey, Sasha. What you doing?
Give me another animal handling.
Good morning. It's me from before.
Natural 20.
Dang.
Let's
Meant to
go.
See, that's why I do it. So you stand there, sort of looking into this little this dark hollow that Olaf pointed out to you, and you sit there for a moment, like quiet and waiting for some sort of sign of Sasha. And for a moment, nothing comes, and you almost get a little discouraged. You know, maybe you pucker your face a little bit, Winnie, distraught, and you almost like sort of turn to go. And as you turn around, there she is. At the edge of the clearing, you see like her shoulders up. You know how like cats slink with their shoulder blades, like the highest part of themselves. And she's just watching you from the edge of the tree line.
I'll like whip around. Go, you are sneaky.
And at the sound of your voice, you see her eyes go like from those real narrow slits. They like go big open wide. And she kind of like in one leap kind of bounds towards you and starts licking her like rough sandpaper tongue, like scrapes against the side of your face.
And while she's doing that, I feel like I'm like on the ground and she's like on top of me. And I'm just giving her like cheek scratches.
She's like
on the
twice as heavy
whiskeys.
as you. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And I'm gonna try and like push her off. Like, I brought breakfast for you.
Yeah, she does like roly polies like Dusty does out on the deck. You know, yeah. And you hold out the little ration that Olaf gave you, and she sort of like snaps it up merrily.
And I think as she eats it, she takes it and nibbles on it, like holds it between her paws, and then rolls over on her back again.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll like give her belly scritches, and then just lay for a second. I'm just gonna try and just lay my head on her chest for a second.
You feel the low rumbles of her purrs as you lay her head against your chest, and it's very soothing.
Yeah. I think that's all I wanted. I just wanted to let her know that we're still here.
You get the sense she knows.
We'll be right back, okay? Do you know who to go to if you need anything?
Oh.
Are you safe in this little cave? Okay, there's wolves about, but did you know?
And then I'll point to the Boss of Werewolves badge.
She does that. She like pushes her head into your hand again, trying to get you to do scritches again.
Okay,
and kind of cuddles up against you.
Okay.
And I'll give her scritches. And then for a second, Winnie just gets quiet again and just looks in her eyes and just gives her like one last pat. And I'll head on out.
Okay. You do so. Back to camp. Anything else?
I think Winnie comes back and sees that we have
Loaded up the cart.
Desi up to the
Yeah,
cart,
yeah.
and Olaf. I'm like, I got Olaf, and I'm like, now she's a little tender on her back rear, so when you use the reins, try to keep it centered toward the top of her back. All right, you'll be a great driver, I have no doubt. Oh, Winnie.
So you kind of reconvene here. The wagon is hitched. Desi's ready to go. Many of the berserkers sort of start gathering up around you, as do many of the, Irina, the Mardikovs, Rudolph, kind of to see you off. Dmitri steps over and says, well, I have relished the battles we have fought together. I think I should take it upon myself to make sure everyone gets back to Vallaki safely.
Yeah, okay.
Whatever we find at Argenvost, we will be sure to report back.
Go safely. It once was a place of great hope, great peace. I do not know if you will find it in such repair.
Something tells me something good waits for us.
Far be it from me to judge your instincts. They've been right so far. Thank you, my friends. Be safe, yes?
Mm-hmm.
And you as well. Take care of Vallaki while we're gone.
Indeed I will. I will keep a close eye on everyone.
Good.
Yeah. I'll give Irina a big hug.
Yeah, she goes down to her knees and lifts you up and gives you a huge squeeze. Off on another grand adventure already.
I hope it's a grand adventure.
I've no doubt whoever waits for you at the end of this road will be better for seeing you just as I have been.
Okay. Okay, I'll see you back in Vallaki, and then we have to have a party.
Indeed you will, little sister.
Okay.
And I'll give her one last hug, and just for a second, it's like, she said goodbye to Irina a bunch of times before.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first time where it's just different now, because we have left and come back with one less.
Yeah.
So she just gives her a really solemn last hug, and she breathes her in for a second.
Yeah, she kind of just holds you so tightly and sort of just gently speaks into your ear as you're hugging. You make my world bigger. Please be safe.
Okay.
And she lets you go.
I think Drogar stands up on the kind of puts a knee up on the seat, and he's getting ready to be like, friends, it has been a wonderful time to see you. And suddenly Desi's and starts moving, and he's falls back in his seat.
That's great, and we're on our way.
And we're off.
That's great, and we're on our way.
that so much.
One last thing before I leave.
Yeah. Whoa! But it's just the beginning of the St. Crispin's Day speech. It would be like if Sir Lawrence Olivier was making his way up the hay bale, and then the hay bale fell out from under him. So he gets a knee up, and he's like, friends, it has been lovely. And
you're off.
And it leads off.
And then Kaz just goes, don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Yeah.
The cart departs Yester Hill, slowly making its way down the tiered burial hill. And you set out again along the old Svalage Road, at this point quite familiar to you. You cross back across the Luna River crossing, where once a lifetime ago you dug up some zombies.
Oh, Jesus.
Remember, Winnie? That's where I dug up those zombies.
Remember when we went on that road trip?
And so you make your way back to the road that you would continue on if you were headed back to Vallaki. But at a certain point, the road branches off and turns south. And this is when you have not traveled before. You come to a signpost in the road that, as you approach it, a raven caws and clacks atop the post, taking on wing as you draw nearer. And the faceplate pointing south at the faded lettering nearly makes out Argenvost Holt. And you turn the carriage south and begin to meander. And almost immediately upon turning south, the landscape begins to change. Always when you travel through Barovia, you feel choked almost by the forest as they wrap around you, their spidering branches forming a canopy over every road that you travel upon through this valley. However, as you move southwards, it starts to sort of open up. into rolling hills and sort of sprawling grassland. It's sort of the central plain of the valley, if you will, at the base of Mount Caucasus.
I think Drogar is going to light up his pipe while he's sitting on he's got a very Gandalf-y, he's kind of got the reins in one hand and he's got a pipe in the other, and he's like, this is quite a change of scenery.
It's almost idyllic, almost, for Barovia.
Winnie! Poke your head out.
What's up?
Look at these hills.
Whoa.
Yeah, you see them. They kind of like roll out, and you can almost you see the landscape at a distance because the fog is not quite so oppressive today. You see the landscape almost begin to tilt upwards as it moves towards the slope of Mount Caucasus.
Do you think because Argynvash was a dragon, he needed lots of place to play?
Well, dragons, Winnie, are massive creatures. I mean, you think I'm tall.
You are tall.
Yes. You see that tree over there?
Mm-hmm.
And I point to like a tree. It's a fair height, maybe 50 feet tall or something like that. And he goes, I once knew a dragon that stood on its hind legs and was as tall as that tree.
A good dragon or a bad dragon?
Oh, it's a very good dragon.
Oh,
Very
good dragon. Oh.
Yes. But intimidating nonetheless.
Yeah, that's spooky. What kind of color?
Red.
Oh, red.
Yes. Unlike his counterparts, he was friendly.
Oh.
Yes.
He had brothers and sisters.
Oh, Winnie, there are many a dragon in this world. Many.
As you continue this conversation, the road turns and kind of dips down into a little ravine. Carry on.
You see, Winnie, they're all color of dragon. Black, green, red, purple, blue, the color of the sky. But some of the most powerful dragons are large red dragons, ancient.
Does the color of dragon you are, mean anything for who you are as a person, dragon?
Well, I think it depends on who your parents were and who you are surrounded by.
So kind of same as everybody else.
Yes, although some dragons are born evil, and some are born great. And sometimes it is so strong of a will that no matter how hard they try, they are driven in the direction that they were, you might say, conceived to be. I was lucky I was not one of those dragons.
You were born great.
Well, I was born evil.
Really?
Yes, I was born lost.
You were born that way?
Well, not born that way. It's hard to explain. I wasn't born evil, but I was formed in evil and in darkness. I was raised in it.
Did you have good parents?
To tell you the truth, I can't remember my parents.
You can't remember?
No.
You can't remember it was so long ago, or you can't remember somebody made you forget?
Winnie, I think it was the latter.
Oh, that's so bad.
There's a large portion of my memory that I don't remember, Winnie, and a lot of it has to do with before I was found by the Knights of Tyr. I was much like Strahd, lost, consumed by hatred, envy, greed, anger.
But you could be good. Do you think Strahd can be good?
I fear that Strahd is consumed by something and controlled by something other than himself. Don't get me wrong, was Strahd just himself that had fallen down this path, down this madness that we see him in? Perhaps there would be a light inside him. But no, Winnie, I think something else consumes him. Another power controls his spirit and his soul. I think he abandoned that long ago for the power he now has.
Drogar, give me a perception check.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, fuck.
What's that?
Natural 20! Natural 20! Thank you, Modern Artifice. For all your dice needs.
Your gold dragon dice.
Gold dragon
Go ahead.
dice.
That's Modern Artifice for when you only want to roll above a 15.
That's nice. I like that. I like that better.
Drogar.
Disclaimer, we cannot guarantee that Modern Artifice dice will roll above 15 every time.
Okay. you need to fucking save that, and we need to make that a thing. No, I'm serious. I'm serious. That needs to be like our next time that we run their ad, that we record it, it needs to have that section in there.
I'll workshop it.
Yeah. I love it. I love
Trevor's
everything
about to
about
drop
that.
some shit on us while
Yeah.
we make this plan.
Wait,
Why do you
time
think I'm
out.
joking? I'm
Okay.
nervous.
I'll wait.
Oh my god, you did not!
Oh, God.
The shade. Did
I
it get
have a
darker in here?
superpower too.
Hold on,
I can
hold
wait
on.
for as long as it
I've
takes.
learned from the best.
Quote Campbell, a teacher.
Okay. Drogar. As you have this conversation with Winnie, your voice catches in your throat as a sound makes its way to the edge of your hearing. The sound of the air being ripped in half, the sound that you are so familiar with, Drogar, hellfire bursting into life. You have a second. What do you want to do? What do you want to do?
Hellfire?
And suddenly,
As you sit there reminiscing of your days under Tiamat's control.
time stops. As Drogar looks at his spell list.
Jesus.
God.
Hey, what do you mean you don't have a hellfire drop? Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know, everyone. Do you have a hellfire drop?
I didn't know there needed to ever be a hellfire drop.
Perhaps I was just being optimistic by not preparing a hellfire drop.
Son of a bitch.
Jeez Louise.
What you want to do? What you want to do? What you want to do?
I know. Drogar will pull the reins far to the left
Mm-hmm.
on Desi.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
You pull the reins hard on the left.
And we'll cast Death Ward on Winnie.
Okay, great. Give me a animal handling check to sort of spur her.
That's a natty 19 for a 23.
Okay, Drogar, you rip the reins.
Yeah.
You rip the reins. Right, and like everyone kind of like lurches in the back of the wagon
And
as
Drogar
Desi. Yeah.
Grabs under Winnie's arm, and Winnie, you feel this like barrier of energy kind of go over you. Hold on!
You give her a quick jolt and she lurches forward. And just as you pass where you were just a moment ago, Drogar, the earth rends open, leaving this gaping gash in the very earth beneath it. And you hear like this suction of the air around it being pulled into this vacuumous opening. It's immediately recognizable to you two, Drogar. This is the portal from which Ludmilla summoned her hellhounds once before. And as it opens, a gout of flame pours up out of it, shooting like a pillar up into the air. You feel the heat, even you, Drogar, against your skin, against your scales, the heat of this eruptive mote of hellfire that erupts into existence and then flickers just as quickly as it came, and the earth kind of like rends back together. And as you sit there for a moment, sort of like reeling, trying to figure out what just happened.
Drogar will pull Desi back and like stop her in her tracks.
Yeah, she like rears back.
Oh,
You know, like
now,
startled
whoa,
at
now, whoa, Desi.
Yeah, and as you sort of all are trying to get your feet under you. You all look so stupid when you think you're going to die. And as you all turn up on the sort of like lip of the ravine, towering over you, looking down upon you as you sit in the cart, the brides.
Jesus fuck.
They stand there.
Three of them?
All three, staring down at you. Ludmilla is like the tallest with her golden tiara, her really dark, sort of like dreadlocked hair pulled back in a tight, sort of almost like ballerina bun. And she has this elegant white dress on. She stares down at you, stoic and stony faced. Volanta, sort of like she can't ever quite sit still. She's always a little bit like flowing or bouncing back and forth in this long red gown. And then Anastraya in her tiny little black dress, half as tall as either of the other two, laughing with cold mirth.
Yeah, and I think Olaf, as soon as the hellfire ripped through, he like turned around from his scouting position, started sprinting back to the caravan. So at this point, like as they appeared, like he had just gotten back.
Sure,
to the front of the
right,
caravan.
yeah.
And like he's kind of at a loss. Like he doesn't know what the fuck's going on. He's never seen the bride, so
Yeah,
he's kind of
sure.
just like.
Easy, Olaf.
And so they stare down at you. And Anastraya, who is laughing and like almost like wiping a tear away from her eye, looks down and says, "Wait a minute. Where's the ranger?" And then Ludmilla turns to her and says, without taking her eyes away from you, turns to Anastraya. "He died, Anastraya." "Well, but I thought you said the handsome one died. I thought you meant the Martikov." At which point Volanta chimes in. "A simple mistake, Anastraya. You see, our oldest sister wife has more mature tastes." And
God.
Ludmilla still like unmoving, staring down at you.
You see, Olaf, these are Strahd's brides, as evil and as despicable as he is. Tell me, ladies, how fares your husband's eye?
At which point, like, they all get a sort of sour look on their faces. Actually, Drogar, roll an insight check.
Yeah. It was bound to happen at some point.
Oh, son of a
It was
bitch.
bound to happen. That
Guidance.
is
I'm
a
just kidding.
natural 1 for a 8.
Sure. It's a tense moment.
Yeah.
You notice a change as you bring up the eye.
Mhm.
You notice a change in all of their demeanor, but it's hard to tell exactly what's going on.
I feel like maybe I struck a nerve. Maybe.
You feel like
Maybe.
you have an inkling, Drogar. Maybe you struck a nerve.
Yeah.
Where
Yes.
the fuck are they? Are they standing?
They're like,
Up
so
the tree.
you were at the bottom of a little, like the road cuts through a small ravine, and so they're standing on a cliffside above you.
They have the high ground.
hmm At which point, Ludmilla, who has stood statue still this entire time, just staring at you, not breaking eye contact, she just looks down at you, almost not even, not taking the bait, Drogar.
Mhm.
She just looks down at you all. "Where is Irina?"
She's safe, and that is all you need to know.
Kaz jumps off the cart. Kaz jumps off the cart, and as she does so, she's drawing cactus. Cactus in one hand, and just as a show of intimidation, spinning the blood spear around in her other hand. She'll jump down and up to the brides.
Engage the handbrake, you dumb broad!
Listen here, ladies.
Now you listen here, ladies. Do you three want to try to show us what you're made of again, or do you just want to call it and go home? Because if you do, I know a shortcut. Go ahead and open another hole in the ground. I'll show it to you.
Oh, good one, Kaz.
Ludmilla takes you view up at the edge of the cliffside. She takes a few steps and holds one foot out over the open chasm. She has a fabulous set of heels on. And she just dangles this foot out over the open air and drops and like plummets through the air, still standing upright, and lands on the road next to you. And you can see like the earth like splinter beneath her, like a little depression is left in the earth as she lands. And so she's like down on the ground level with you, and she takes a few steps forward still. She's not that far away, but she just looks at you unchanging. "I don't know what you all did, but you pissed our husband off enough that he has allowed us to hunt our wayward sister." "She's not our sister!" From up on the cliff, Volanta breaks out. "That's why Strahd has cut us loose. He has grown bored of her rude behavior and giant forehead."
Oh my
perhaps-
god.
Or perhaps, ladies, he has grown bored of you.
Oh.
Ludmilla cuts her eyes across at you, Drogar. "I'll not ask you again. We have no quarrel with you anymore, but I have a score to settle with the princess. So tell me, where is she?"
There are 2 ways that this valley is going to go. And you, bride of the devil, can be on the right side, or you can be on the side that is never seen or heard from again.
And you're the right side, yes.
You must see that he is using you.
Okay, hero, indulge me. You kill my husband, wipe his legacy from this valley. What do you do then? What's the plan once he's dead?
Well, the plan is to give it back to the people.
And so you have thought about how to do that? You have thought about how to institute a stable government for these people. You have thought about how to organize the squabbling villages to make sure trade is facilitated. You have thought about settling blood feuds between the royal families who live in this place. You have thought about tending to the trees, the rocks, the stone, the mountain, the nature of this place.
How would you tend to the trees?
Thank you, Winnie. And as for the blood feuds, I think we've settled quite a few of them while we've been here. Or perhaps you didn't see what happened to Lady Wachter.
If you want to win me to your side, you tell me you're not making something worse.
Honestly, I don't give a flying fuck about any of that. I just want to go fucking home, and right now you're standing in between me and that. So are we fighting, or are you leaving?
I think we're discussing diplomacy, as botched and as bastardized as it might look. Isn't that right, Bride of Strahd?
See, I told you, Ludmilla, Anastraya from again up on the cliffside. You see, I think that Strahd is letting us hunt Irina because he knows that these idiots will throw themselves in front of us to save her, and he's hoping we will kill them. I don't know. It's getting so hard to keep track of the rules anymore. This used to be fun. You all have made it not fun. You know that?
You know,
Directly at Volanta.
That was Anastraya.
But directly at Volanta, Kaz is going to go,
I just want to give you the chance to be the baddest bitch of somewhere, as long as it's somewhere well outside of eyeshot of me.
I'm going to eat your tongue.
Ludmilla.
You tried once and I threw you down through a hole in the ground. Try again!
Enough, Ludmilla holds up a hand. I don't have qualm with you anymore. But I can't stand her anymore. She's a slight on my honor. I will see her dead. Where is she?
No. No. Let it go. How old are you?
That was my question, Volanta from up on the hill. Old enough to know better, little one.
Then know better and leave her alone.
We gave you a chance. Is this your answer? Stubborn obstinance as always.
Ludmilla. I once thought the three of you could not be reasoned with. But I have seen something in you today, as strange as you might think it, as sad and pitiful as you might think it. You know, eventually he is going to get tired of having you three on a leash. And then what will he do with you?
I'm sorry. This is Ludmilla. I don't mean to laugh. I am sorry. It's just... You know so little about me. And yet you tell me all these noble things. Do you know what I am, Master Draken? A spawn. And the two up on top of the hill kind of hiss a little bit. Do you know what that means?
Yes, I do.
It means he drinks my blood. But I don't get a lick of his. That would make you a true vampire. Full. As one day he promised me I would be. You say one day he'll grow bored of me. It was 3 centuries ago. He grew bored of me. But did I complain? No. I did my duty. I am Ludmilla of House Sofiansastok. I do my duty without complaint, but do you know what he said to her on her first night in the castle?
He said, take of me, Irina. Take of me, princess. Drink my blood. Be a true...
And yet you still follow him.
It's not a matter of following. It's a matter of pride.
Well, and Drogar will draw his shield and his mace. Ludmilla, pride goeth before the fall. And he stances up.
Very cute. We have already seen how we match up toe to toe, Drogar. That is not what I'm here for. Don't be boring.
You and Irina.
Yes.
What is it going to change if you find Irina?
I don't know. Maybe I'll feel better.
For how long?
I'll worry about that then.
Honestly, I'd already forgotten about Irina. If it's Strahd's blood you want, then you and I have more in common than we thought.
No doubt. Fine. Have it your way. I'll have the girl's head one way or the other. You'll see us again soon. Sleep tight. And she, like the long trains of her dress flutter and convulse, and there's this sort of sound and sensation of rushing air as the folds of her dress convulse and contort and turn into huge bat-like wings that spread wide, and with one massive gust she lifts herself up into the night air, and all three of them sort of begin to fly away against the unbroken blanket of the fog ahead.
Strahdcast features Campbell O'Hare as Winnie, Devine-Jones as Kaz, Ned Iannacone as Drogar, Tyler Kanter as Olaf, and me, Trevor William Fayle, as your DM. Our patrons make great suggestions for a live improv show. Folks like Lottie Dottie, Samantha Hine, Mo, Taylor Roth, and Vincent Valdez. Welcome to the party.
If you're not ready to support us financially, there are still plenty of ways to help us out. You can follow us on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at Critical Fail DM, binge Madness and Mercy on our YouTube channel, and join us there every other Sunday at noon Eastern Standard Time when we do live listens of new episodes of the Strahdcast. Or rate and leave us a review wherever you like to listen. Thanks, Dungeoneers, and take your day with advantage.